Yo! What's going on, guys? Welcome to my Season 15 Full Challenger JAX guide. For those of you that do not know me, I'm a JAX Fiora 2-trick on NA. I peaked like 1.2k LP, well 1166, ranked 20 this season. And so I know a lot about the two champions. I made a JAX guide last year. It's been about a year already, which is crazy. I think I released that in May 2024. And so I thought it'd be a good time to make one for Season 15. And so here we are. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you learned some stuff about JAX. If you do, drop a like and subscribe. This video will be, there's a lot of like segments I'll have at the bottom, so just skip through to whatever point you want. But we will start with the spells, so I'll see you there. Alright, so real quick, just to talk about summoner spells. On JAX, I would go Flash and TP pretty much every single game, right? Every game, just go Flash and TP. I would never recommend not taking Flash, okay? There are some matchups where I think you can go Ignite and Lethal Tempo, and the champions like, you know, Warwick, for example, or Olaf, or whatever. Especially in lower elo, where people will give you more all-in timers. But I go Flash and Teleport literally every game, because I think TP is too important at a higher level of play for carrying the mid to late game. I don't like playing without Teleport as the game goes on. So I go Flash and TP every game. You do as you please. If you like taking Ignite for that extra kill pressure and you think your teleport usage isn't the best, then go Flash Ignite, right? And win your lane harder. But teleport will bail you out of bad lane states, and it also allows you to impact the game more as the game goes on. So just keep that in mind. I'll see you guys in the runes section. Alright guys, let's talk about runes. So for those of you that follow my stream or watch my videos or whatever, you'll know that in high elo, I go Grasp every single game without exception. Literally every game I just take Grasp. I think it is the best scaling and overall the most consistent rune page for JAX. Now, I know some of you are sitting there like, best scaling? Like, what do you mean? Like lethal tempos? Okay, let me address that. So, Grasp, the reason why I love this rune page is because of the resolve tree and the inspiration tree, right? I do think that in some matchups, lethal tempo does give you better all-in potential and better kill pressure in lane. I agree, it does. But the thing is that the precision tree kind of sucks. Like, you don't really get much from precision tree, right? Whereas with Grasp, you get to take Demolish, you get second wind for your laning phase, you get Overgrowth, which Grasp plus Overgrowth will usually give you 300 plus health, right? It's like a full Giant's Belt worth of health. And you'll feel the difference in your games. Once you hit like your 2-item spike, you will be a lot tankier with the Grasp page than with the lethal tempo page, right? And that's why I like it more. Combine that with the fact that if you're going lethal, you only get to choose either resolve or inspiration tree, right? And I think that biscuits and cosmic are so important on JAX to take right now. And so that's why I run this rune page every single game. You can't go wrong with this rune page, okay? If you take this every game, you can't go wrong. It's the most consistent rune page. It's easy to play. You just play short trades with your W. It scales really well. Gives you good map pressure. You take towers fast. Overall, this rune page is really good, right? If you do want to go lethal, though, I will say lethal tempo can be good in lower elo because people will give you more all-in opportunities, right? In higher elo, people aren't as bad, and so they recognize when they can and can't fight you, so you don't get all-ins as much. But in lower elo, you do, right? So if I was going to go lethal tempo, this is the page I would take. I would go lethal, Presence of Mind, Alacrity, and then probably Coup de Grace or Last Stand. Either one, kind of depends on the matchup. In easier matchups, I would go Coup de Grace. In harder, I would go Last Stand. And then I would go Biscuits and Jack of all trades, right? And early health, like this. This is the page that you want to take for lethal tempo. And your build, which I'll talk about in the build section, but you basically want to rush. You want to start Dorn's Blade, and then on first reset, you want to get Boots and a Dagger, or Boots and a Glowing Mode, but I would go Dagger, right? Works better with lethal tempo. This will give you the Jack of all trades, 10 adaptive force at 5 stacks on your first recall, which is really strong. And yeah, overall, you'll just have a really good all-in rune page. But like I said, I do go this page every single game. You can't go wrong with it, right? Lethal tempo can be good in lower elos. I wouldn't really go any other rune page. I know you can go Phase Rush if you want to go AP JAX. I don't go AP JAX ever. I know Baus does. I know some people like it. I wouldn't actually recommend it for climbing. I think it's just not the best JAX playstyle. There's also like Conquer and Fleet, but I'll just stay away from both of those. You don't need either one. So yeah, this is the rune section. Go Grasp or go Lethal if you really like the playstyle and you're in lower elo. But this is definitely most consistent. I will see you guys in the probably the build section. Will be next. All right, guys, let's talk about builds, and specifically, I want to mention that I am focusing on builds that will get you elo and make you rank up and make you win. Okay, I know there's fun Jax items out there. I know there's different builds, like there's tank Jax or there's Navori. You know, it's really fun to use. There's AP Jax. I'm focusing not on the fun stuff. I'm focusing on what will actually result in you getting elo and climb. So do keep that in mind. But yeah, let's get into it. So starting items. When I go Grasp, I go Dorn Shield pretty much every single game, okay? Pretty much every single game. I'll just say every single game, actually. I don't remember the last time I went Dorn's Blade on JAX. The reason I do this is because most of your damage when you're going Grasp page comes from Grasp procs, your W, and your E. You don't really sit there auto-attacking the enemy champion that often, and so the AD that you get from Dorn's Blade isn't that valuable, right? That's why I go Dorn's Shield every single game, because I would rather have the extra health and the health regen that it provides, right? You can kind of play Jax like a drain tank, you know, with grass procs, which will be shown in like the gameplay examples. But yeah, that's why I go Dorn's Shield every single game. If you're gonna go lethal tempo Jax, you can go Dorn's Blade, right? You should go Dorn's Blade and take Jack of all trades as well. And then yeah, we'll talk about first recall. So if you're going Grasp, which I do, you always want to try to get Sheen when you can on your first recall, right? Sometimes it's not going to happen. You're not going to have enough gold. When that's the case, just go Ruby Crystal and Refill Pot. I think health is more OP than AD early game. And so, yeah, I often just pick up a Ruby Crystal my first reset with a refillable potion. And this just lets you stay in lane for so long, right? Otherwise, you can go Longsword and Refill Pot. Either way, always try to get a Refill Pot. Okay, that shit is so broken, right? It gives you 200 health on every single reset for free, or like for 150 gold. Like, it's so good, so gold efficient for your laning phase. So always buy a refill pot on your first recall. I sometimes will literally buy it over like a glowing mow or dagger or whatever. I will take the refill potion. But yeah, always try to get Sheen first. If you're going lethal tempo setup and you take Joe and you start Dorn's Blade, then you should go longsword and dagger, right? Or longsword and glowing moat so that you can get the 5 different stats. But that's only for lethal tempo. First item, go Trinity Force every single game. I never sway from Trinity Force. Boots. You want to go Plated Steel Caps into heavy AD comps, obviously. Merc Treads into heavy AP comps, but only if they have Tenacity, right? Or Tenacity. Only if they have a lot of CC, so the Tenacity is worth it, right? If I'm playing against, like, Akali and Zac and, like, I don't know, thinking like a Soraka support or something like that, right? Or a Xerath or something. Don't go Mercs, just go flat MR. The point is, sorry, I like brain fart there for a sec, but the point is you don't want to build Mercs into comps that don't actually have a lot of CC, because you're just spending a bunch of gold on Tenacity that doesn't even help you, right? So instead, you'd want to go different boots, like maybe Lucidity boots or Swifties, and then just buy a Negatron cloak, right? So yeah, that's boots. Lucidities, you can go if you're like really far ahead, and Swifties are good into champs that have slows like Dr. Mundo or like a Singed with Rylai's, stuff like that, right? That's when you want to go Swifties. Second item, I go Sundered Sky every single game without fail. I build Sundered Sky pretty much every single game, I should say, actually. There are some cases. So I will go Spear of Shojin to have more, have my E up more often. If I'm against a champion like Tryndamere, or if I'm against like really just any enemy team comp that has a lot of auto attackers, right? Where I think my E value being up all the time is really important. I will go Spear of Shojin and Lucidity Boots, right? Because this lets you just have your E up all the time. Super strong, right? Titanic Hydra. If you're going to go like a split push build, you can go Titanic Hydra second and Hullbreaker third, and it's really strong. I never do this because this isn't how I play, but I know there's some Jax players that do. So you can go Titanic Hydra. It gives you pretty decent burst. I would argue less burst than Sundered Sky, but I haven't actually done the math on it. But yeah, for split pushing, it is pretty good, right? And then finally, Riftmaker. I like going Riftmaker against tanks that stack armor, right? So think about like Malphite. Sion will build armor sometimes. So Sion, or in these champions where you kind of lose extended trades normally, Riftmaker can actually swing it sometimes. Now, I wouldn't go Riftmaker into like Dr. Mundo, for example. He's just going to beat you anyway. But against a champ like Malphite who stacks armor, going Riftmaker is really strong because it still gives you like haste and health in damage, but it swaps your damage to more AP. And yeah, it gives you good like all-in potential and the damage amp like over time being in combat. So Riftmaker's pretty good second sometimes. Rest of your build, you can go like Zanya's. I go Zanya's every game pretty much, unless there's just like no AD damage on the enemy team. Otherwise, I'm building Zanya's. Zanya's is so strong on JAX. It's basically used as a tool, not only to give you a lot more damage, it actually gives you a good amount of damage, but it's used as a tool to get your E off twice in one fight, right? So you can hop in, pop your E, stun people, Zanya's, right? And then your E will come back up when you're out of it, or you can like hop away to your team. It basically just buys you a lot of time. It's really strong. Awesome that you can build it on JAX. Honestly, I think it's broken that you can build it on JAX. It's stupid, but we'll take it. We'll make use of it. So yeah, that's my best core build at the moment. I build that probably 90 to 95% of my games, just Trinity Sundered Zanyas. Sterix Gauge, you can go if you want some tenacity. Maybe it's like 4th item. I go Sterix sometimes. Frozen Heart is good into heavy AD auto attacking comps, like I was talking about with Spear of Shojin, right? You go something like Trinity, Spear, and then Frozen Heart, and you're just really strong into a comp that has like 3 or more auto attackers, right? Kanik is good into high AP bursts, so think about like Elise or I don't know, Syndra, champs like that. Kanik is pretty strong into. Hullbreaker, like I said, if you're going a split push build, then yeah, feel free to grab Hullbreaker with Titanic Hydra. Pair that with Lethal Tempo, it can be really strong for side laning. Deal a lot of damage, a lot of on-hit. Wit's End is good. I build Wit's End 4th a lot after Zanya's, just to give me some MR, tenacity, and yeah, just damage, honestly, and the attack speed feels really good. And then Unending Despair, I actually go often a lot as well, just to get like MR, armor, nice heal, some ability haste, and health. Unending Despair is just all around a really good, like, later on in the game item. For the most part, I don't build, or not for the most part, I should say, I never build hyper carry items like Ginsu's or Terminus or whatever on JAX, okay? I just don't think it's good. So yeah, I never do that. Later on in the game, you're usually not going to be strong enough to beat the champions that beat you already, even if you go like a hyper carry build. So it's better to just go the build that gives you better team fighting, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's builds. Drop any questions you have in the comments below. But yeah, I'll see you in the next section. Alright guys, real quick before we get into the matchup section, I did want to plug my my matchup guide. So you can find this in my school community down below. It also comes with a full laning phase guide and a full mid to late game macro guide. But basically, this kind of acts as like your handbook when you're in Champ Select, right? So if I see that I'm against Ambessa, I can just go to the Ambessa page, right? I can see the recommended rune setup, whether you take or give prio, which is just pushing level 1 or not, the itemization, skill order, and then just like general notes on how to play it, as well as a video, a 1 to 2 minute video for every matchup on trade patterns and how to play them, right? So that's like Ambessa. We can look at Darius, right? Same thing. Got a little video. Alternate setup, right? I do consider like in lower elos, maybe you want to play Lethal Tempo. So I give you the setup for that, itemization for both setups, and yeah, just general notes on every single matchup. So if you do want access to this, just join the school community down below. It's really good. I'm really trying to make it super valuable. And yeah, I hope to see you in there, but I'll see you at the tier list. Alright guys, so let's talk about matchups, right? You'll notice if you watched my last year's video, I'm actually just using the same matchup tier list as last year because nothing's really changed, to be honest. I kind of agree with all my takes from last year, except for Rise. I would put Rise in the hard but winnable section here. And the only other thing is you gotta think about, what's it called? Ambessa and Aurora both being added to the game. I would put both Ambessa and Aurora in the hard but winnable section. I think they're both kind of hard matchups for JAX, but you can win both if you play properly. And Ambessa is actually one of the examples I have in the footage section. But, gameplay footage, that is. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. Some stuff you might be wondering about, like why is Dr. Mundo in the JAX winning? This is specifically for laning phase, okay? I'm not really taking into account, like, scaling in this thing. Scaling in, like, the rest of the game. This is just for laning phase. That's what I think about when I think about matchups. And so, yeah, you shouldn't lose lane to Dr. Mundo. But he does get hard to play against once he's won the 2 items. So that's why I have him in JAX winning. But yeah, other than that, all this should make sense. For bans, I would recommend banning if you're in lower elo. Probably like Garen or Pantheon would be good bans. In high elo, my permaban is Jace right now. Even though Jace isn't the hardest matchup, he is by far the most popular top laner in high elo. I see him all the time if I don't ban him. And so I just permaban Jace. I hate playing against the champion. That's my permaban in high elo. I would recommend you do the same if you're like above masters or so. But in lower elos, you can probably ban like either Pantheon, Garen, maybe Dr. Muno if you struggle with it, or like Teemo, whatever. Just pick one of the hard matchups, and whichever one you hate the most, ban it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess the only other thing I would disagree with as well is Rumble. I would move Rumble to either hard but winnable or skill matchup. Rumble's not as strong as it used to be. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright guys, I wanted to make a quick like what to focus on to climb thing for those of you trying to learn JAX. So a lot of it isn't even JAX specific, to be honest. In your winning matchups, you want to be good at taking push, right? You don't want to push the first wave too fast. You want to use your E with minions to get good trades. So basically you like walk at your opponent. You kind of stand right on where the minions meet each other, level 1. And if your opponent auto attacks you, right, you pop your E, you start hitting them, the enemy minions hit you, this ramps up your E's damage, and then you can take really good level 1 trades, right? Playing hard on the level 2 timer, so holding your E until you get your Q on the level up and then Qing on them. And then, yeah, in winning matchups, just crashing any wave after wave 4 and recalling, coming back to lane with your items is just what you want to focus on. Just making this whole process really clean will let you rank up and win lanes really easily. Losing matchups, giving push, taking no damage as they push into you or very minimal damage, right? And then playing the bounce is how you want to play losing matchups, so this is something to work on. Mastering your slow push on JAX is super strong and important, right? So getting really good at, and you'll see this in the games, right? But basically, they crash the wave, you slowly push it, right? You last hit every single minion, and you play aggressive on the bounce when you're slow pushing into them, right? This will get you so many solo kills and dives and stuff like that, plates, whatever. Really important to master that. JAX is so strong on the slow push just because his Q allows you to like jump on people. You can take really good Q auto W trades if they ever try to walk up on the wave. And then finally in the mid to late game, right, you're looking to pressure the side, and I talk about this later on in the video, like the mid to late game macro section. But you're basically looking to pressure the side and use that to create opportunities on the map. That's how I win all my games and carry them as JAX. You usually want to be present at team fights and stuff like that. So yeah, I just wanted to real quick give you guys like what you should focus on in your games to really climb on JAX. If you can master these things, you'll do well. So yeah, I'll see you in the mechanics section. Alright guys, welcome to the mechanics section. So the first thing I want to talk about is your level 1, right? So when the wave first arrives level 1, you basically want to stand in a winning matchup, right? You want to stand up on it, and if the enemy walks up, you basically auto them and then pop your E. And what you'll notice is this makes all the minions attack you, right? So if I just reset my cooldowns real quick, where I do that. If I auto this dummy, you'll see the minions start attacking me, right? And you'll see all these dodge things. That ramps up your E's damage, right? And so it's really important to be able to do that. How do I kill a dummy? I probably should have, okay, there we go. So, really important to be able to do that. Another thing I want to talk about in the laning phase, that is slight but important. Timing your autos with grasp, right? You can see down here on your hotbar when your grasp is going to come up, so I can wait like this and then time it perfectly, right? I can wait, I see 3, time it perfectly, right? This is important in laning phase, right? Just to wait that 1 extra second to time your grasp proc effectively. Super important, right? I missed that one. Try to do an auto W. That's the next mechanic though, is auto Ws, right? So just auto W, really strong, really important. Easy auto reset on JAX that you definitely should be doing. So make sure you can auto W well. Next thing is, if I level up real quick, Q auto W. So like this. Really strong trading pattern. Let me just, okay, it's Shift X. So Q auto W, really strong, right? Really good way to take quick trades in lane, especially when you're playing the bounce, right? You just Q auto W. Super good, right? Clicking back and forth on JAX in general is really important, like being able to do this. Oftentimes, like you will be able to get opponents to walk in Q range if they otherwise wouldn't by clicking back and forth. So, and in general, like just for movement, right, it's really important to be able to click around really fast as JAX. So I would definitely work on that. just work on your clicks, being able to click really well. Next thing I want to talk about is E usage when you're fighting people, and I'll have an example of this. But basically, what I see a lot of Jaxes mess up is they will pop their E in lane, and then they'll like Q and like fight like this, right? That is incorrect. You want to think of your E more as a tool to take perfect trades and dodge damage than you do as like to stun people, right? So instead, what you want to do is like Q auto W like that, and then pop your E, right? Pop your E once you Q on them, right? Like this is way better to do than popping your E like preemptively and then jumping, right? You want to always pop it in most situations and against most matchups. You want to pop it after you're on top of them so that they can't auto you and you can kind of walk with them and then stun them. It's another thing which I will show you an example in an actual game. But walking with people after you Q. So often I see people, they'll Q on an opponent and they'll just stand here like this, right? One of the most important things on JAX is being able to auto attack and then move, right? Auto attack and then move. I know some of you right click to auto attack, so just being able to auto and then move, right? Timing that is really important. And so that plays into like you Q on them and you immediately auto and move in whatever direction you think they're going to go. So if I think that this bot is going to run backwards, right? I want to immediately be clicking in this like direction so that I can stay with my enemy. So often I will see people, they just like do this and then they start clicking and like it just doesn't work well, right? So you want to just Q and immediately be clicking behind them in the direction they're trying to go. Some other JAX mechanics. Burst mechanic. If I level up real quick, one of the best JAX burst mechanics is basically you QRW, right? QRW auto is so strong. If people are low HP, like under tower, you can do this and you can basically buffer it through CC as well, like against a Riven or something. You just QRW auto, right? And yeah, the burst is really good. So I'll just show it one more time. You Q, you R midair, and you W auto, right? Super good, super strong. Yeah, E flashes are good to learn as well, right? Make sure you can E flash. That's super good to know. Like so. You always want to ult early when you're playing JAX in fights. Make sure you're ulting early so that you get the most damage and resistance bonuses out of it. Another thing regarding flash is like sometimes in team fights, right? This will be like their front line and these are their ADCs. So what you can do is you can kind of do this and then flash on the ADC, right? So you Q to the person in front and then you flash on the ADC. Super strong. People don't expect it often for some reason. But yeah, really strong thing to do. Just like playing with your movement and just being hard to predict, right? Like you Q here, you pop your E like you're going to fight them, and then you flash on the ADC in the backline, right? Let me clear all dummies real quick. How do I do that? Right, so just a quick example of showing why it's important to click after you Q on someone, right? Let me show you guys real quick here. Right, we Q, pop our E, but you'll see we're immediately moving after we Q, right? We don't stand still. And this is kind of like what I was trying to show you guys when I was talking about like queuing on people, popping your E and immediately moving in a direction that is good, right? So in this case, I moved to the side because I know Mordekaiser is going to try to E. It's the same idea as like if they don't have an ability like that, you just move behind them, right? You walk with them. So yeah, that just demonstrates that. All right, so another JAX mechanic is Wing them and then queuing away really cleanly. So this can work both when you're trying to take a short trade, as I'll show right here, but also when you're pressuring the enemy under their tower. You just walk up to them, you W, and you Q as you're Wing away. Because your W's animation can be canceled, and you'll see this here in a sec, this is really strong, right? So here, I dodged Darius E, and you'll see, right? I W, Q as I'm Wing away, right? It looks pretty fucking sick, to be honest, right? But that's something you can do as JAX. You can WQ really fast and kind of cancel the W's animation with your Q. Like I said, it's really strong under tower as well. So do work on that. Buffering your W. Okay, so I don't really have an example here, but I will in the videos, I think, against a Riven especially. You can buffer your W through CC, right? So if like Gragas is body slamming me or like Riven is going to stun me, your W will always go through CC. It's a really strong mechanic to use on JAX, so make sure you make use of that, right? Same as like if Ambessa's going to ult you or Malphite's going to ult you, right? If you put your W on them as they're coming at you, your W will auto attack as soon as they get in range, even if they're like using a CC ability on you, which is really dumb in my opinion, but it works. So we'll take it, you know. If you're wondering how I auto attack like this, basically I click A and it does this, and then I left click, right? This kind of like separates your autos from what's it called? From your movement, right? Like your movement is right click, and then A left click is your autos. This is something a lot of high elo players do. It's not necessary though. If you like just right clicking on everything, that works. I just find it kind of like makes an intentional auto attack, which is cool. Another thing I want to talk about is Sheen proc usage, okay? So often I will see people, right? They'll like do this and then they'll W right here. What's wrong with that, right? What's wrong with that is that you're not making full use of your Sheen, right? So if I know that like the person's low or I'm taking a pretty short trade, I like Q auto, I will wait for my Sheen to come back up before Wing, right? Or I'll wait for it to come back up before Eing or Wing again, right? You overall, like, you want to be using Sheen to the maximum ability that you can. So if your W is up in like 2 seconds, right? Like let me just give an example, right? We wait for Sheen to be up and then we W. I kind of mistimed it there, but you get the point, right? You can basically watch down here, similar to the grasp thing. You can watch down here to see when it's going to be up, and then you can use that to take better trades. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the JAX mechanics. I don't think there's too much more. There's ward hopping actually. This is a big one. Ward hopping is really good. So just practice doing this like really clean. Basically, you just hit 4 and then you spam Q. Like that one wasn't clean. That one wasn't clean. That one was clean. That one was clean. So if you can work on it, right? Just like I'm doing in practice tool, it's pretty good. Ward hopping, being able to do it fast is really important. I find like you want to make sure you place it in range. If you place it out of range, then it's gonna feel choppy like that, right? But when you place it in range, it feels better. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Overall Q usage as well, I guess I will talk about. When you're in team fights, you want to Q into them and then usually like pop your E, your ult, whatever Zanya's. And then your second Q, unless you're able to like kill someone, is usually queuing backwards. Always like be on the lookout for things you can Q to. Like if you're running away, you can Q to these plants. You can Q to, yeah, every single plant. Really strong for just getting away, right? Ward hops, like I said. Overall, your Q usage can just get you out of a lot of tricky spots, so keep that in mind. But yeah, guys, that's the mechanics section. I'll see you in the gameplay. Alright, guys. This game we're playing JAX against Ambessa. So this matchup is one where you're pretty favored. I would say it's JAX favored up until like one item or so. Even then, though, if you play it correctly, I think JAX can still win. But in the early game, you're definitely favored. So this is a matchup where you should be taking prio. And yeah, you can watch how I do it, right? So basically, the whole premise when you're playing JAX and you're trying to get level 1 prio is you want to be right up on these minions, right? You want to be right up on the melee minions, hitting them, trading with your opponent. If your opponent ever tries to auto attack you, you pop your E, as I did there. You stun them, auto, and walk back, right? That's something important, really important JAX mechanic that you guys should keep in mind. When you're playing in the early game and you're taking a short trade like this, you always want to, first of all, obviously use your E to dodge the auto attack, but when you stun, you always want to just auto attack while they're stunned and then walk away, right? Create this space between you and your opponent so that they can't hit you, right? And then when like your rest comes up or you can auto again, then maybe you can turn back into them and auto like I did there. But in general, right, JAX, his early game strength comes from using his E to dodge their auto attacks and take short trades, right? And so it's really good to use E, auto attack them a few times, stun, auto, walk away, right? So that they can't get any return damage on you. But anyway, you'll see there, right? We get level 1 prio, and now our plan is to just slow push this and eventually crash it, right? So we try to crash wave 2. Ambessa holds the wave, that's fine. We drop a ward, right? Just to make sure we're safe from any Viego ganks. Clear third wave. Ambessa is still holding this wave. You'll see here, I'm constantly trying to like weave in W's as well. You'll notice. like, when I play in this area against an opponent, when I'm trying to crash, like, wave 3 or wave 4, I play right up, like, in their face, right? It's kind of, you're kind of, like, edging the tower. Pause. But, like, yeah, you pretty much play right around the tower, and you try to, like, W them when they go for CS, etc., right? If they walk out a bit, you Q on them as soon as they walk at a tower. I Q on people all the time. And this Ambessa makes the mistake of walking into me, so I use my E. Get a nice stun. And then here, when 4th wave arrives, this is a mistake I see people make a lot, is they don't crash the 4th wave. They let it arrive, and they start letting their opponent push. And it's like, why? You know, your goal here should be to eventually do a 4-wave crash or 5th wave crash or whatever, right? You want to crash any wave after the cannon so that you can recall and spend like 700 gold or so, right? You don't want to recall right now, and you certainly don't want to let them push into you, right? Because if you give push here, they'll hit level 4 first, and you won't actually be able to kill them in this area. I think some people think like, oh yeah, I'll let them like push into me when they're low like this so I can kill them in this area. No. If this player is good, they will hit level 4, and then they will play really aggressive as they're slow pushing into you, right? And it'll end up being favorable for them. So instead, what you want to do is you want to be right up on the wave, like autoing it, making sure that you get push on it, and you turn it from pushing into you into pushing back into them, right? You'll get level 4 first, and then you can safely crash it. Q auto Ws are really good trading tools once your grasp comes up, right? So if you look there again, I'm hitting. Once my grasp is up and I see your waster E for whatever fucking reason, I don't know why, I just Q auto W, right? Take a really good trade, back up again. Ambessa dashes back in, and so I cancel an auto there, which really sucks. If I didn't cancel that auto, I could kill this guy as soon as my W's up, but it's what it is. Again, you'll notice there, once again, right, you Q auto W and then you walk away. It's so important as JAX to take these short trades, right? Like you Q auto W and then click back, or you E stun auto, click back, right? Unless you really have an all-in timer, JAX's base auto attacks aren't that strong, especially when you run grasp. So you really want to just be taking these short trades and constantly be like weaving in and out. But yeah, if I don't cancel that auto attack, this would have been a really good trade. Anyway, we get our level 4. Viejo comes, quick little ward hop, dodge the gang. Grand comes, help crash, and this is something you can do a lot as JAX, right? Because JAX gets prio in a lot of early matchups, you can use that to help your jungler, right? So you can crash wave 4, or in this case it was wave 5, and then you can walk down into river, right? And you can try to help your jungler secure the scuttle. So that's exactly what I do here, right? I see that Viego is probably going to try to like fight my brand for this scuttle. So being a good top laner, playing for your team, you can walk down here, right? You can help him out. Help him get this scuttle crab. TP right back on the wave. Always do this early game, I think. TP cooldown is so low that you should always just TP right back, even if it's pushing into you. Just so that you don't miss any XP. We let Ambessa push in. Don't want to fight someone when they have a stacked wave. And then, yeah, we start our own little slow trade, or slow push here. Here, I noticed that I'm pretty low, right? I'm kind of losing some of these trades. And so let me explain to you guys my thought process. My thought process here is, okay, I need to look for an all-in. Because if I keep taking these short trades with Ambessa's kit where her W shields her a bunch, and she can kind of trade me outside my range, then I'm going to get fucked, right? Like, when I'm this HP and she can constantly take these short trades like this, I'm eventually going to lose out. And so sometimes you have to commit to all-ins just to build a little advantage in lane, even if you don't end up killing them, right? So here, I commit to an all-in just to get her flash and to end up getting pushed on the wave, right? This way, well, if their enemy team was in top, I could have crashed this wave and recalled, right? And so this is something you can keep in mind. You don't always have to all-in order to get kills. Like, sometimes you can all-in just to secure the push and put yourself in a state where you can end up getting a crash off and recall, right? But like I said, unfortunately, their team ends up coming top here, so have to recall. My wave gets stuck in a freeze. It sucks. There's really not too much more worth looking at for this lane. I'll just go through some short things. Because my lane ends up getting really fucked by these like little skirmishes top. Where Ambessa is like almost a full level up on me now at this point. Alright, half a level up. She has a freeze. My lane sucks. And this is what I like to call taking the L sometimes. That recall you just saw me take. Right here. Sometimes, guys, you gotta recognize, like, yeah, I'm chunked out. She's a level up. Her ult is coming up soon. I'm gonna die if I stay here and try to crash this wave. Sometimes you just gotta take the fucking L, bro. You just gotta take the L and you gotta recall. It sucks, but it's part of playing top lane, right? And you gotta be smart. It's better to recall and miss minions than die and miss minions and give over a kill. Luckily, Zach comes and bails me out, so we get a kill here. And yeah, that's pretty much this early laning phase, right? We get a bunch of plates. Continue to try to help my team, but Brand is doing dumbass shit. I believe I get another solo kill on Ambessa at some point here. Yeah, so at this point in the game, I get my Trinity Force, and we're 1 item to... Oh, whoops. We're 1-to-1 in items, right? So I clear this wave, recall, teleport back with Trinity. Hold the wave to try to kind of bridge some of this XP gap, right? She's up a little bit in XP. So I freeze the wave. Bridge some of that XP gap, and you'll see Ambessa comes back. And so what I'm doing here, right, is I W and she comes in close. She comes in way too close, and so I take some good trades, right, and really chunk her out. So let's look at some mechanical things here, right? Jump on her, stun her, auto W, keep autoing, pop my ult, so that I can get ult procs and then another auto W off and deal a lot of damage, right? And this is kind of the same idea again, guys. You don't always have to finish off kills. If you chunk them out to this low, they're cooked. And then we just WQ. It buffers through her ult somehow. I don't know. That interaction was so funny to me. But we get the kill, right? And we're getting the kill. Help Brand out at the grubs. Playing for your jungler is a really strong thing, right? Brand probably would have died here. But instead, we walk over. Notice that he's going to die. Hit a little flash stun on Viego. Snag the kill. Really good. There's one other thing I wanted to show, and it's kind of a fast mechanical combo. I'm trying to remember when it was. Don't think it was here. No, it wasn't. I believe it's here. Okay, so this is just the last thing I want to show from this game, right? I end up going 9-1 this game. We carry pretty hard, but here, fast JAX combo that can really burst people is you Q, you ult in midair as you land on them, and then you W auto attack with Trinity. Okay? It's really strong. So you'll see here if I slow it down. I'm just like kind of playing back and forth. Q, R, W auto. Dead. Right? You can absolutely one-shot people and catch them off all the time. I do this so often. It also works against like a Gragas, for example, right? When you're playing against Gragas and you know he has body slam, or any champion with CC, you can like buffer your W through, right? So you QR auto W, right? Or QRW auto, I should say. And it's just a really good way to burst people down. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this game. Just an example of when you have prio, using that to get, you know, your standard 4 or 5 wave crash, any wave after wave 4, and then playing for your jungler, and then just some mechanical things. So, yep. Alright guys, this game we're playing JAX against Malphite, and I want to show you guys how you can play against tanks, right, and build an advantage against tanks without even needing to kill them. So, first step, against all tanks, you take prio on the wave using your E, right? So you walk up, you hit the minions a bit, get your grasp stacking, and if they don't walk back, you stun them, you grasp auto. And feel free to always take extended trades against tanks, right? Against champs like Riven or whatever, you don't want to take those extended trades, but against tanks, feel free. Just go for it. They're all weak as shit early game, so you can kind of just beat their ass, right? In the meantime, you want to start slow push, right, on the first wave. You can use level up. So, I mean, I'll just go through this lane, right? So, we traded hard, level 1, got our level 2, skilled our Q, and traded on him, right? Using level 2, level up timer is really strong on JAX because you can QE onto the opponent. But anyway, the main focus here is just to get all the farm, right? And I've already missed 3 minions, which isn't great. Ideally, you want to miss none. But yeah, the main focus, 4 minions now. But the main focus is to just get a lot of farm against these tank characters, right? They're all super weak, and so you just want to trade really aggressively. Again, similar to the Yone game that I talked about, as soon as they step outside the tower, right? Like this is outside the tower radius. You just want to Q on them in the middle of their entire wave. It'll buff up your E's damage a lot, and yeah, it'll lead to a good trade. And the more we can make Malphite use his mana, the better off our lane is going to be, right? So my entire goal here is to keep the wave shoved in, make it hard for Malphite to CS since he sucks at CSing under tower, and take really strong trades in this area. So again, as soon as this guy walks out of the tower, right, if he walks up into this area, I'm going to Q on him immediately with my E. I should Q on him immediately with my E. I might have been scared of Zach in this situation, so that may be why I wasn't using my Q. Because I didn't know where Zach was at the time. I didn't know if he was path and top or bot. So I'm guessing that's why I didn't use my Q, because this is a good gank timer for junglers, right? So I don't really want to be queuing on Malphite. But anyway, the main idea is still there, right? You're just shoving these waves, you're walking up, taking W grass trades when you can. You know, queuing on him, stunning him, Wing him again. And overall, you're just getting all the minions and shoving the wave under the tower, right? And if you do this correctly, by the end of this whole first sequence, you'll have a nice little CS lead, right? We're already up 11 CS. We get our Sheen on the first reset. And just TP right back. Malphite decides to stay, which is strange. He should have TP'd. He should have reset and TP'd. So we take a good trade on him. He TP's back. And yeah, let's look at this trade, right? This guy TP's on the wave for some reason. I think he thinks that Malphite is stronger than JAX, but like I said, dude, you are stronger than all tanks early game. Literally, every single one. So if they do shit like this, it's troll as fuck, right? So I immediately W him, click back to act like I'm scared, and bait him into trading with me. Hit my E, Q on him, auto, and then I'll W again with when my Sheen's up, and take a really good trade. I want to see if I do that there. So we W for the first Sheen proc, Q, get another one, and you'll see here, I purposely wait until my Sheen is back up to W again. This is an important mechanic on JAX that you should learn and implement in your games. Is basically, you want to always play around your Sheen cooldown, right? So, if we watch it one more time. E, Q, my Sheen goes, and you'll see I purposely hold my W. Okay, so they come up at the same time, which is kind of defeats the purpose of this example. Let's say my Sheen was on cooldown for another second, right? You always want to wait to W until your Sheen is off cooldown, right? So if my W was up and my Sheen was down, I would wait to W until Sheen is up. This is important for taking good trades with JAX. Really important. Anyway, walk back again. Malphite steps up. So again, we Q auto W on him, right? And you can just see the way I play against tanks, right? It's synonymous across all tanks. You just play super aggressive. He's level 5, I'm level 6, so I take a plate in his face. Right? And even here, I still just know that all trades for me are going to be favorable. I'm scared of Zach being topside, so this is why I'm not queuing on him here. Otherwise, I would. Looks like I end up queuing on him anyway. Probably because I see Shaco fighting Zach. Malphite ults me. End up getting his flash out of it. And yeah, I mean, the point of this example is just to show you that tanks are pretty weak early game. Like, a lot of people always ask me, like, how do you beat tanks? This is how, dude. You just beat the shit out of them and, like, shove waves into them constantly and make them useless for the first 15 minutes of the game, right? This guy keeps faking his recalls, so I'm slowly pushing the wave. Finally, I see your recalls. So, you shove the wave in, take 2 plates, and recall, right? And now, at this point in the game, without even killing Malphite, just through taking aggressive trades, shoving waves in, getting all the CS, we're up 800 gold, right? Without even killing him, we're up 2 kills worth of gold. And this is how you should play against all tanks, right? Exactly how you should play against all tanks. You just do this. You just trade super aggressively, right? You can see again here. Malphite walks up way too far. I don't know. Maybe he thinks he wins. He doesn't, right? Auto W. Chunk him out. Q on the minion because he was out of range. That's a little mechanic thing you can do sometimes. If people are spacing you out well, right? Like you don't have range to Q on them. Like in this example here. You can Q on the minion next to them. And then I do a little auto W. Take a trade there. Constantly hoping that my Shaco would be topside, but he's not. So I can't ever kill the guy. But again, right? We're just trading super aggressively and shoving waves in. And making it so that Malphite has literally no game impact, right? Eventually we recall, TP back with our Trinity Force, and yeah, at this point in the game, through just playing super aggressive, getting all CS and plates and stuff, we're up 700 gold, right? As the laning phase is kind of coming to an end, which is huge. really big advantage on this guy, and I can pretty much run the top side of the map from here, right? Malphite will never be taking favorable trades with me, and so it's harder for his jungler to play in top side, easier for mine. And yeah, this is just a cut and dry, bread and butter way that you want to play against tanks, right? You can also do stuff like let the wave free or push into you and freeze when the opportunity arises, but against a lot of these tanks, I really enjoy just shoving the wave into them on repeat and trading really aggressively because they suck at CSing under tower. So it's pretty easy. But yeah, nothing else really happens in this laning phase. This is pretty much all that happens. So you just constantly have prio top lane and can use that. Unfortunately, in this game, I had Poppy mid, and so we couldn't really fight Grubs that often. Like, their 3-man is just stronger than ours. But normally you would want to use this constant pressure top lane to also get Grubs for your team. But yeah, that's playing against tanks. Alright guys, so this game, we're playing JAX against Yone, right? And so the way this matchup goes, I usually have trouble getting prio against Yone as JAX. The reason being is that his Q is such a low cooldown. And so if the Yone player is good, he'll space you out correctly, and he'll use his bone plating. And as soon as your E is down, you can't really walk up here, right? Like, this guy will win the all-in and extended trades every day of the week with lethal tempo and his Q cooldown. And so, I like to do something, and you'll see this as well in an example against Riven, who kind of operates the same way. I like to just give prio in these matchups. Like, against Yone, that was a bad E. Don't E like that. That's a bad E. But against Yone, against Riven, these champs where as soon as your E is down, you get your ass beat or like set or whatever, right? I like to give prio against them. Darius is another example. I like to give prio and let them do a 2-wave crash. Because as soon as you have your level 2, as you'll see here in a sec, then you can actually play the game with these champions that have abilities that allow them to space you. As soon as you have your Q and you can actually get on top of them, well, then you can play a lot better, right? So the key here is when you let them push into you, you give prio, you want to just take the least amount of damage possible, right? You want to get as much XP and CS as you can, and you want to take the least amount of damage possible, right? They'll crash wave 2 or wave 3 if they're good, right? And then you farm, and then you play the bounce. And you'll see here, as soon as I have level 2, I know that I'm stronger than this guy, right? And so as soon as I see him, I Q on him immediately. One thing you'll notice me do, and I do this a lot on JAX, is you Q, you E midair, right? So your E starts as soon as you're on top of them. And then you can click behind them. If you're playing against a champ like Yone with his W shield, or I even do this against like Talia, right? A lot of Talia players will put their like thing that pushes you backwards right below them. So if you Q on them and immediately click behind, it can kind of mess people up here. And you'll see he misses his E because I keep clicking behind him to try to like confuse him where I'm going, right? So just a little movement thing. So I'll just Q. Hit him again with Grasp, and you'll see I take short trades, right? Because this guy has lethal tempo and I have Grasp, I just want to take nice short trades, right? And then when my Grasp is back up, my Q on him, you'll notice here I get level 3, and I know I get level 3 off of this melee minion. And so I'm walking up, right? I hit this, get my level 3, get a little W with Grasp on it, and now this guy's pretty chunked out, right? And just like that, even though Yone has a stronger level 1 than JAX, if he plays it correctly, in my opinion, as soon as we just let them crash and play the bounce, well, now we're in a really commanding position in the lane, right? We have full control of the lane at this point. This guy can't walk up or do anything, and you'll see. I just shoved the wave in, and I end up recalling here. I think in hindsight, I should have stayed, because I only have 580 gold, and I'm still really healthy. So I think I should have just stayed and let him clear this wave and push it out. But I reset in TP. Either way, guys, every time you recall in the early game, in my opinion, first of all, never recall before crashing cannon wave, if possible. You never want to recall before hitting level 4, in my opinion, in the current, you know, with the way waves work in Season 15. But when you do recall, you always want to TP back, I think. And this especially becomes good with Cosmic Insight, right? The lower cooldown on your teleport makes it so you can teleport 3 times over laning phase. And so, yeah, always use your teleport early to maximize your XP and make sure that you don't lose any. But anyway, you'll see here, I'm just posturing back and forth. when I know that I'm stronger than my opponent, anytime we're in this position, right? This will happen sometimes if you're trying to crash wave 4, the cannon wave, right? Like you crash wave 3 and then wave 4 will meet in this area. I pretty much just click back and forth like this, right? Kind of trying to like bait him to walk up, right? Like you'll see I'm constantly clicking back and forth here. The moment he walks up too far, you Q on him immediately, right? And this allows you to take a good trade, right? I'll just Q's a bit more. Just run out away from Yone. End up jumping on this rumble here. Me and Zing get a nice kill, which is cool. But that's besides the point. We're just letting this push back. Looking to trade on him pretty aggressively when he gets here. And you'll see. Guys, you never want to trade into someone like this. So first of all, JAX is really good at killing people in stacked waves just because your E dodges minion damage, stuns, and the damage gets ramped up the more minions hit you, right? But you never want to fight someone here until you're level 5. So you'll see me, instead of fighting him, I go and I auto this minion, and then I auto this minion, I get my level 5, and now I jump on him, right? Whenever you're trying to kill someone on the bounce, always get even level first, and then look to kill them, right? That was just a nice little mechanical thing there, 2 times in a row. A way you can kind of use movement to bait people, right? You'll notice when I play JAX a lot, I'm always like clicking back and forth, right? Like I Q auto W and then I walk away for a bit and then he walks into me and so I use my E, right? We kind of like bait him into us, right? By clicking away, Yone is like, okay, I want to go forward and hit him. And then we turn around with our E, get the stun here, click away again, right? Short little click away. He thinks I'm going to disengage, so he clicks E. And he comes back and we get the stun, right? You can either call that him misplaying, but you can also call it like really high level advanced psychology, right? Whenever, and I guess spacing, right? Whenever you're playing against people, you'll notice when you click at them, they click away. And when you click away, they click back towards you, right? And so you can do these like little micro movements in order to, you know, get people and hit your stuns and shit like that when otherwise you wouldn't hit it, right? So that's just a little example of doing that. Anyway, we get the kill. Start to slowly farm these waves. Maybe should have recalled, but I don't know. I elected not to. I think I actually end up dying here like a pig. I end up dying to Rumble. Comes top and kills me. That's tough. I should have dropped my ward. That's my mistake. But we come back out on the map. Run it back top lane. I look for him. And this is something you should do in your games as well. Whenever someone kind of fucks up their tempo here, like you'll see, this guy stays way too long, right? Way too long. Whenever someone does this, always look to try to stop their recall. It doesn't work because he's smart and he walks over here. But if this guy had walked into this bush and I stopped his reset, he would have been so screwed in this lane. So to get tempo advantages, if someone overstays for like a plate or something like that, always look to stop their recall. Not only does it tilt them a lot, but it also will lead to you getting plates and shit like that, alright? Anyway, crash a wave, get a demolish proc, get 2 plates. And yeah, in this position I know I'm stronger than Yone, right? At this point, JAX is stronger than Yone. I've kind of scaled up a bit. And so, I'm just clicking back and forth. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for a little opportunity. I'm letting the wave push out into me a bit. And we're just chilling. Don't want to Q on him there after getting knocked up. Let the wave come into this area, and this is more of a sweet spot, if you will. To fight him, hit the stun, so we just commit to the all-in. Bro goes crazy, and we just fucking W his head, dude. Guy dies. Start shoving the wave, because I know he has no teleport, right? Get the crash off. Back off. Reset. Teleport back. I guess my TP was up. I was wondering if it was on cooldown or not. Yeah, it was up. So that's an example where you can overstay your tempo sometimes if your teleport is up, right? Like if my TP was down, then I would have wanted to recall as soon as I crashed this wave, right? As soon as I get this crash off, I would want to reset. But because my TP's up, I know that I can greed for a plate here and TP back. And so that's just a small thing to note. If your teleport's not up, don't greed for plates like that. It's never worth it. You always want to keep good tempo and not miss any mini waves. But if your teleport is up, then yeah, you can feel free to do it. At this point, we have Sheen and Phage. We're pretty strong. And so yeah, we're just shoving waves. And I'm going to do the same thing here, right? I'm going to let the wave come out. In this area, it means it will naturally slow push into me, right? And so I'm just chilling here. I'm not touching the wave at all. I want to play the waves to create trading opportunities, right? So as soon as he goes to Q that minion, I just all in him again, right? And we get a nice little kill. Some little mechanical things there. Nice little sidestep with the E to stun him as he Qs. And then stepping in front of the Yone R so that he can't get away. Works pretty well. And then auto W with the flash. Finish it off. He probably could have flashed. He should have flashed. I don't know why he didn't. But, yep, shove this in. Take the whole wave. Take the tower. Reset. Lane is over, right? So just a few things in this matchup that you should take from it, right? The first is against champions like Yone or Yasuo or Riven or Set, any champion where you lose as soon as your E is down and they're just like stronger than you, level 1, right, in all ins, just auto attacking, or maybe they have abilities like Riven, you want to just give prio, in my opinion. I think it's best to just give prio and let them crash wave 2. Because even if you take prio against a champ like Yone and you take a lot of damage doing so, a 2-wave crash isn't that good, right? Like a 2-wave crash means that you'll both be level 2 and the wave will be in their area, right? And so I often, like I said, I give prio on the wave level 1 more often now. Because as long as you keep good health, you can really trade aggressively level 2 when you're in this area, right? And so that's what I do against like Yones, Yasuo's, Rivens, whatever, right? Any champion that's stronger level 1. Some other things to take away. Just little movement things, right? Like constantly clicking back and forth as I did like in these areas, right? Where you're just constantly looking to get a Q off on them, right? You're clicking back and forth. You're waiting for them to walk just out of tower range so you can jump on them. The little trick against Yone that I did over here where you Q on him and then walk behind, right? This is really important on JAX. Movement is kind of everything on this champion, right? So like being able to move around with your E and try to like dodge abilities and stuff like that, really important. The same thing when like he used his E out here and I clicked back and then clicked right back into him to kind of bait him to walk into me, right? These are all pretty high level trading things, but you can replicate it in your games with enough practice. Yep, that was this game against Yone. Just an example of giving prio on the wave against a strong champion. Alright guys, so this game we're playing JAX against Gragas, or against top lane 101, who is consistently a challenger top laner. And yeah, it's a pretty fun matchup. So, skill E early, right? And against Gragas, you can play for prio. Now, Gragas is considered to be like a JAX counter, but I don't know, man. I usually do pretty well against Gragas players. Like, I usually come out of this lane with a CS lead. I think it's kind of like just a limiting champion where like you're never going to get all the plates inside towers and stuff. And he does scale better than you, like in terms of his usefulness and his ability to limit you in team fights. But laning phase isn't bad. So something you can do against Gragas is you can kind of let him E you. And as soon as his body slams out, if he walks up too far near you in the wave, you can just use your E to stun him, right? And simultaneously stun the minions, get push on the wave. Super good, right? I'll hit level 2 here already, first, right? Like you can just tell. I have more minions than he does. I've gotten push on the wave pretty even in terms of HP. And yeah, this is chill. So here, I hit my level 2. And this could have been played a lot better. I could have really fucked him up here, but I kind of messed it up, unfortunately. And I don't want to take that W trade. Again, it's similar to what I said in the Ambessa game, is like, I'm hoping I put the Ambessa game before this one. Like, I'm hoping I remember to do that. But, basically, you want to take short trades against people. You don't really want to just be like autoing them down unless you know you beat them in an extended fight. So when I like stun Gragas and auto him with a grasp, when his W's up, I'm gonna back away, right? Because I don't want to let him get that damage off on me, if that makes sense. But anyway, we're just doing the standard 4-wave crash, 4 or 5-wave crash, right, against this guy. That was nice there. A little bit of like using minions against Gragas, right? You can kind of walk back if he tries to body slam you. But yep, just a standard crash any wave after wave 4, right? So when the cannon wave comes, I'm pretty much just trying to, yeah, just crash any wave after the cannon. I know that Zed could be top here, but I don't think they have the ability to kill me. It's funny, I'm against LL Stylish, actually. But they don't have the ability to kill me, right? With my E and being able to ward hop and all that stuff, it's really hard for them to. Gragas players will often hold the wave like this, but it really is fine. When you're playing JAX and you have pots and cookies and all these other tools for healing, you really can just keep your passive stacked at 8 stacks and just keep autoing the minions. And eventually, oh shit, I hit backspace. Whoops, sorry. Eventually you'll be able to get a wave crash, right? So like, try to crash this one. Gragas is gonna hold it again because that's what Gragas players do. We take a pretty close trade here, right? And again, that's an example of like Wing near the tower, right? Like I will do this all the time. If they walk up, because your W gives you extra range, right? You can auto attack people with it and a grass proc right near the tower, and it works really well. Yep, so I'm trying to do the same thing here, but he gets a really good body slam. Luckily, we pop our cookies and our health potion. Heal up a lot. Potentially could go for a flash W on Gragas, but I've been baited by this champion many times with his passive heal and his W reduction, damage reduction, so don't flash there. Instead, just focusing on getting the wave crash, right? He's still holding the wave. This is what Gragas players do. Eventually, we force the wave into the tower, and we can take a recall. Teleport right back, right? I believe I kill him soon here, so we'll have to watch how that goes. So TP back, we both have mana. He E's into me, so I just Q and W auto back on him. Again, looking to trade aggressively against Gragas. Right, can walk up. I should have buffered a W auto there. That's a big misplay on my part. Because you can buffer your W through Gragas' E. So that anytime he body slams you, you also get return damage on him. I just misplayed there. But we pop our potions. Slowly getting pushed on this wave. And you'll see there, that again is like using minions to dodge his body slam, right? So I pop my E, like I'm gonna run at him, right? We take the cannon, pop the E like we're gonna run at him, step back so that his E misses, and then we can jump on him, right? Stun him. Get a nice little trade. W auto attack. Just chunk him out a little bit, right? Go down, I grab the river fruit. This is another reason why it's really strong, like playing aggressive and for prio on JAX, is because you can always grab this river fruit. It spawns at around 6 minutes when grub spawns. Come back to lane. And that's another mechanic I just wanted to talk about real quick. Is against Gragas and against Riven, these champs that have CC abilities, that you have to be like in close proximity to them, you can use your E and stun them mid-air like this, right? You can stun mid-air as soon as they're in range, right? You can stun them, and if they don't react fast enough, you can get a really good trade, right? And so I pop my ult, and then I just flash auto W, secure the kill. Super good. So fucking good for my lane, right? So yeah, if we watch that again, just to look at some more mechanics here, right? First of all, we use a little psychology trick to make him think we're not going to jump on him, right? You'll see there, I click back momentarily. Sorry, I keep going too far forward. So I click back momentarily here, right? I click back this way to make him think I'm not going to jump on him. And then we jump on him, right? Pop the stun. Flash auto W. Guy's dead. All right. Super well played. Grab a plate. Recall before Gragas gets back. Life is good, right? We've now secured a lead in this lane. And nothing else really happens this game that's worth watching, to be honest. This was just meant to show you how you can play against a champ like Gragas that likes to freeze here, how you can really push your limits near the tower, and then some little mechanical stuff as well. Just playing JAX, right? So, yeah. Alright guys, so this game we're playing against Riven, Mr. Junkie Joshua. I think this guy was Grandmaster or something like that. But, anyway, playing against Riven, and similar to the Yone matchup I talked about earlier. First of all, this is going to be a full game review, because I play very well throughout this entire game, so I think it's worth looking at, how to play mid to late game as JAX. But, laning phase, right? Same thing against Riven. I like to give them prio. You'll see here, I'm not really like trying to trade with her at all. If she walks up and tries to trade an auto with me, I'll auto her, stun her, and then walk backwards, right? Overall, I'm not looking to take any sort of extended trade against this guy. I know his Q's down, so I'll trade some autos. But other than that, right, we're just playing safe. We don't want to walk up to her when she gets pushed on the wave, right? She'll get level 2 first. We'll take a bad trade. We don't want that. So We just want to let her push into us, play pretty safe, look for small trades with our E when we can, but overall, we're just letting her crash this wave 2, right? And then you'll see, as I did in the Yone game, right? Once I have my level 2 here, and the wave is in this area, you can take better trades. Use our E, take a good trade, back up, right? And that's kind of all you do here. This was a mistake for me, actually. This was dumb of me. And I have to flash early. Right? So, little mistake you can learn from here. Again, against a champion like Riven, dude, it's just ridiculous how much damage this fucking chick does. I hate playing against this champion. Because, like, here you would never think Riven would win this, man. Like, I'm jumping on her, level up. Sure, she hits level 3 here. But, like, why is this champion so strong, man? It's crazy. She just pops Ignite, Qs at me, and I would have died here if I don't flash. I would have ended up dying. So, gotta flash away from that. Unfortunate, but learn from my mistake. Just be a little more patient, right, when you're playing the bounce. Only trade when your E is up. But anyway, we flash, and sure, that sucks. But again, because we're both even health like this, it's really hard for Riven to end up getting pushed on this wave and crashing the cannon wave, which is what she wants, right? So sure, I trade Ignite for Flash. You might say, like, that's not great, and it's not. I agree. That's not great. But what it does mean is that I can now play this bounce pretty comfortably, right? We have a health advantage. We have a minion advantage. We'll hit level 4 first. And so that's all that's on my mind right now, is I'm just trying to farm these minions and get level 4 first, right? I'm posturing pretty aggressively so that I can take a good trade on her if she ever overextends. And you'll see something you'll notice here is, excuse me, when this cannon gets low, right? I am purposely standing right in front of it, super aggressive like, so that if Riven does some dumb shit like this, which players even at the highest level will do, dude, they will lay out for a cannon when it doesn't help them at all. If they do that shit, you can take a really good trade, right? And so this is the power of building up a slow push. Now, something I want you... Here, we'll watch how this plays out first, alright? So we Q on Riven, get the kill. Mechanical thing here. Holding your Q on JAX when you're against the champion with an escape, right? So Nefiri flashes here, and you'll see my Q is up this whole time, right? My Q is up, can Q on her, but I know Nefiri can go over walls. So I drop my ward, and then when she Qs, I Q on her, right? So we hold our Q for the escape ability, and then we end up stunning her and getting the kill, right? Big thing when playing JAX or any champion with a dash is you want to hold the ability when you're chasing someone and like you're about to kill them if you know they have flash or if you know they have a dash of their own, right? You want to hold yours until they use theirs, and then you use yours, right? But anyway, that was good. Let's picture another world where this doesn't happen, right? Where Riven doesn't int for the cannon like this and just lets me crash the wave. Well, alright, great. What you'll notice is Riven has Ignite, right? And I have Teleport. So if Riven plays smart and just stands back here and lets me crash the wave, then I can just crash the wave, recall, and teleport right back. And because she has no teleport, she's going to be in a shitty spot, right? And so that's another thing you can just think of. And another thing which, in my opinion, makes playing this way against these champions so strong. Letting them crash wave 2, trading in this area and getting the bounce, getting pushed on the wave and getting the bounce, is super strong on JAX right now, in my opinion. I don't think crashing wave 2 in the JAX is very good. And so this is something I use in a lot of my games. But anyway, you'll notice, she comes back to lane. I have double buffs now. Super strong. I have Sheen and a longsword. And so I'm looking to kill this guy as soon as I can. Get my level 5. She gets level 5 as well. Q on her. Q auto W. Riven's going to try to take a trade probably. I W her. Keep walking away, right? Keep backtracking into my minions. And eventually grab the kill. Takes a bit though. But again, JAX is pretty good at killing people on a bounce when you have an advantage. So we kill her, let the wave chill here. You'll notice I still have teleport. So I farm that whole wave. This is something I do really often with waves. If I'm like low HP like this, but I know my TP is up, instead of recalling and teleporting now, I would rather farm the whole wave and get as much gold as I can so I can get a better buy. And then I recall and teleport. Does mean I miss a few melee minions, which isn't great, but I think the buy is worth it. Come back, building up a slow push because we want to get grubs, right? This is something you should do, is when you have a wave around when grubs spawn, and you know your team wants to take it in like 30 seconds or so, just build up a slow push. Makes it so that Riven doesn't get to play at all, while I get to run over here and take these grubs. And so that's exactly what we do. Get the grubs for free, go back. When you're taking grubs and the enemy shoves the wave, this will happen often, you want to run back before they crash it if you're in an advantageous lane state, because then you can freeze it like this. And you'll see here, end up getting the kill again. It's actually pretty close though, which is crazy. Fucking Riven champion. A big thing I should comment on is how to trade against Riven as JAX, because you'll play this matchup pretty often. Your W goes through stuns, right? I talked about this in the mechanics section. And so, yeah, you can buffer your W through either her Q3 or her W, right? And you'll see it just leads to really good trades. So the way you want to play it is as soon as you have Sheen, you pretty much just auto minions, get your grasp ready, and then you just walk up to her and just W, right? And she'll usually Q3 or stun or whatever, and your W will go through, and then you pop your E after her stun is down. And then you can just commit to the all-in, right? We pop our ult, run at her a bit here. She stuns us again, which, well played. And actually almost gets the kill. That champion's just crazy. I don't know. Love playing against Riven, man. Crash the wave, you'll notice I don't stay for a plate because my teleport's down. And this would be greeting my tempo, right? She's this close to the tower. So if I stay for this plate, I would end up getting my recall canceled, and it would be bad news bears. So don't do that. Come back, and at this point the lane's really easy, right? We can just kill her super easily. One little mechanical thing here that I remember doing is basically waiting for your Trinity proc. And so I can't show it. Your Trinity or Sheen proc. I can't really show it here, but I wait that extra half second before queuing on her for my Sheen to come off cooldown so that I can use Sheen to Q auto kill her. This is something that's really important on all champions that use Sheen items, right? Is sometimes you're going to want to be a little patient and wait for that to come back up, right? So I W her with Sheen right here. She stuns me. My Q is up, but I want to wait just a little bit. Okay, let's pretend my Q is up like a second earlier. You want to wait for your Sheen to be off cooldown and then Q on them in auto, right? Just to help you secure a kill and fully make use of your items and their damage and shit. That's troll for me. End up having a flash. Probably killing Nivea. Recall. Because of Kali roam top, I TP mid. Play this with my Alistar a bit. Kill the Riven again. And yeah, at this point, it's like, it's on me to carry this game, right? I'm 7-0, super early, super fed, can totally carry this match. And so, because Riven died, we get a bunch of damage on this tower. I kind of end up trolling here. This is like monkey brain going for that kill when I know enemy jungler could be there. End up giving the shutdown into Fury. It sucks. This isn't really what I want to look at, because you can't really replicate this in all your games, like where you end up going mid and getting a bunch of plates and shit. So it's not that important to look at. But if we speed forward here, end up coming back mid, fighting my Alistar, getting mid tower, keep pushing forward. Overall, don't want to fight here because my mana's low, so we leave. Alright, escort my Alistar out safely. Farm this wave, push the next one, recall. And now I'm going to go to a side lane, right? Ping Akali off, right? Akali was running back top. Guys, do this in your games, okay? I looked at it, I was like, dude, I don't want to fucking face a Nivea, alright? Like, Akali, back the fuck up, homie. You're going bot lane. Like, I'm going top against Riven. Riven goes for proxy. Never let the enemy proxy on you when you're ahead like this. You don't want to let them out of the lane. I don't care if you lose some minions. Never let them proxy like this. Not worth it. Flash, get the kill. Flashing like that is worth it because it allows you to get pushed here. And then, guys, all you want to do in the mid to late game as JAX is you just want to push the wave into this area, right? Push the wave in, and then you take control of whatever side you're on, right? So in this case, I shove the wave in, I'm not going to try to clear this wave because I know Riven is coming off reset and she'll be there in time. So I push the wave in, Riven has to come clear this, and with that time, I can take this crop, or I could take blue buff, or I can go sit in a bush and wait for Nefiri to come if I have more mana, right? Because my mana's low, I don't want to take a fight here, but you get the idea, right? People often ask me, like, how do I carry with a lead? Like, what do I do once I have a lead built up? This is what you do. You push the side wave in order to force Riven to sit at this tower, right, in this area, and answer your push, right? She has to answer it, she has to clear the minions, and while she clears the minions, and the next wave is coming, you walk into the jungle, you disappear on the map, you look for a flank mid, you take Rift Herald, you take camps, right? You just control this entire area of the map, and that's all you have to do for the most part. If you're patient enough and you do it right, opportunities will eventually present themselves, right? And even if you don't, like, make crazy plays like getting a bunch of kills and stuff, it like frees up your team a lot, because now that you have this whole area controlled, okay, it's scary for Nefiri to walk into her jungle. Nefiri's getting less gold because you're taking her camps. Talia can now roam freely, and your support can move freely in this whole area of the map because you have this pressure in this quadrant, right? And so this is like the main idea of how you carry as a top laner, is you get your lead in lane, you get this tower, and then you just trap the enemy laner here and force a 5v4 on the rest of the map, right? This is exactly what you do, and it's exactly what you'll see me do. So I do it there, I recall, run back, end up killing Riven again, start pushing the wave, and again, the plan is the same, right? Here, normally I would probably back off here, right? But because my Alistar is here, not because I'm scared of Riven, but because I don't know where their entire team is. Because Alistar is here, though, I stay. Because me and Alistar are pretty fucking strong, and we can fight them. So this is just a niche example. Like, if your support comes top, this Alistar's a GOAT. If your support's like this Alistar, then yeah, you can overstay and let your nuts hang a little more. But if Alistar isn't there, I would just back off again, right? If we go back, if Alistar is not here right now, I would get my Demolish proc, and as soon as I see Riven, I would back off. I would walk right back, and again, just walk into the jungle and control this area of the map, right? Because then Talia can move freely, right? She can freely move in here, you know, clear vision, walk into this bush, whatever, right? And we can look for plays in this area of the map, while Riven is stuck under her tower, clearing the wave. And so this is what you want to do in the mid to late game. Anyway, that goes on. Run back top again. Shove the wave again. Take Gromp. Or try to take Gromp. Nefiri smites it. Shove the wave. I don't know why I recall. Oh, I recall a match Riven. Never mind. Reset to match Riven while my team is doing whatever mid lane. Someone just followed me. Thank you for the follow. Whoever followed me. Right. Help my team out. Whatever. This is just shenanigans. Not much to replicate here. Run mid. Get a kill there as well. I want to do Atacon, but my team like really is hesitant about it, which sucks. So we end up messing up our macro a bit here, right? Like this whole time I want to just start the Atacon, but we end up looking for shit in this area, and that results in Drake coming up. And so the enemy team makes a nice play. They move to the Drake and burst it before we can get there. And they get out. Sucks, but it is what it is. I run back mid, clear the wave, recall because I'm low on resources. And you'll see, at this point in the game, guys, when there's no dragon up, let me pull up, what's it called? Objective timers, right? Because Baron's the next objective on the map and Atacon is on top side, I want to be bot, right? You always want to be on the opposite side of whatever objective is spawning next. And so, I want to be bot. And so you'll see me do the same exact thing, right? I push out the bot wave, and I'm just taking camps, right? I'm taking camps. I'm moving around in their jungle, right? They spot me on vision here. I move out of their jungle because I see my whole team on Atacon. So it's like, okay, if enemy team isn't here, there's only one place they're going to be. There's only one play they're going to try to make. And so, yeah, I walk away. Frankly, this was troll in and of itself, right? Walking in here and taking this plant. I should just be backing up as soon as I see my team doing this. But I digress. Is what it is. I am pretty strong this game, so it's chill. But anyway, as soon as we see our team take Atacon, we just back up, right? The biggest thing you want to make sure doesn't happen when you're side laning is you don't want to die. Okay, dying is the worst thing possible when you're in this position. So, don't die. Back up, and then once it's safe again, once my team is back in a commanding position on the map, then, I mean, my Akali trolled and died. But then you can walk back out, right? And you can start to push waves again. Pushing waves, take a little fight with my team, grab a kill, grab another kill on Anivia. And you'll see here, the whole time these minions are just hitting the tower. Enemy team is losing minions. And that's because we did what, right? We pushed the side wave in, and then we look for a play. And that's how you want to play mid to late game as a split push / team fighting top laner, right? Anytime you're playing top lane and you're ahead, you push the wave, you push the side wave, and then you look for plays on the map, right? Or if no one answers you, you take the tower. And that's, by the way, that's a very viable strat in lower elos. In high elo, people will always answer you. So you push the wave in, and then you look for plays on the map. It's all you got to do to carry games. It really is that simple. Just don't die and do this on repeat over and over, right? Recall, and I run out to mid, it looks like. Yeah, I think I see Akali getting flanked here when I come out of base. And I think because bottom wave is shoved in so far, my thought process is like, okay, I'm just going to run to mid. While Anivia's clearing this, right, I'm just going to run mid and see if I can make something happen. When the wave is pushed out in the side lane, you have what's called like a timer to run out on the map and kind of do whatever, right? So I run out, Kali gets collapsed on top, and I'm telling my team, okay guys, we have vision of this Baron. We know they're not on it, okay? So we can just push mid. This mid wave is all the way shoved in. We can just go push mid, and then when they start the Baron, then we can turn around and kill them. Excuse me. Unfortunately, Corki gets hooked like a dog. I mean, he's living up to his name at least. Corki gets hooked, so it's like, fuck. Alright. I have two choices here. I can burger flip a fight and try to 1v9 and kill them here, which I know won't work. Or I can just leave and go do something else. This is a mistake I see a lot of people make, is they don't know when to give up an objective, right? In this case, giving the objective is the right call. You do not want to go in and fight when you're super fed and it's a bad fight, right? You don't want to take bad fights. There will always be more opportunity in the game, and one Baron doesn't lose the game. So instead, I just walk to the dragon, right? We get our dragon, get our soul point, and recall. And now, another big macro play that you can make in games, right, is basically you double up one side. So you'll notice when I run out of base here, right, this wave is pushed in. I don't need to worry about bot wave, right? If Anivia pushes this up, it looks like she's scared of me anyway. If Anivia pushes this out, I will be able to recall and run bot in time, right? So instead, I double up in the side lane, right? I go and I hover my Akali because I know this Riven's an idiot and will try to fight. Come out here, get the kill on Riven. Super good. Teleport mid, take a fight with the team. You'll see here good Zanya's usage. When you're about to die and your E's not up, you want to Zanya sometimes. Kaisa mistimes her thing. Get the stone and don't die. To be honest, I could have played that 100 times better, but it's alright. We did our part. Got the kills that we needed. I don't know, I'm just farming. Just chilling. Keeping these side waves pushed the entire game. You always want to be catching sideways the entire time you're playing. And eventually we just end up taking a good fight and we win the game. But this entire game just had a lot of macro stuff that you can learn from, right? And basically just gives a little tutorial on how you should play the mid to late game as JAX to win games, right? It really is just your bread and butter. Push the wave in, make stuff happen in whatever side that you're on, right? Another common thing you can do, if we go back before Baron was taken, you can push the wave into this area, and sometimes enemy like bot lane will be up here on the mid wave, so you can push the wave in and walk up through the jungle and get a flank, force a 4v3, whatever, right? Or you can push the wave in, walk up, enemy top laner who's down here will like teleport up and then you can just walk right back down, and now you have teleport advantage. There's a lot that you can do through side laning, but it all revolves around winning your lane first. You have to be stronger than the enemy top laner, so do keep that in mind. But yeah, that was a full game example. So I'll see you guys in the next section. Alright guys, let's talk about JAX Teamfighting real quick. This game has great examples, so I'm just going to run through a few in this game, right? So, I'm pretty fed, right? I'm pretty ahead. Won my lane, 2-1 and 2. We're in a good spot, right? And so, a lot of times when you're teamfighting as JAX, yes, you can look to kill their backline, but oftentimes you're just looking to provide a good front line for your team, right? And something that I do often is when I'm strong, I like go. Like I just fucking run at the enemy team, right? I run at the enemy team. I'm constantly using my E, constantly like pressuring them, clicking at them. And then in this scenario, right, I realize that Ambessa's in the back line, so we can just snag a quick kill on her, right? But the idea of just kind of like taking up space in team fights and absorbing a lot is really strong on JAX, right? Playing this front to back style, where you're just stunning and killing the enemy front line a lot. And then obviously you can look for kills on their back line when you need to. But for the most part, you're just looking to play front to back in a lot of games, right? So let me give you another example here. Right? Pantheon ults in, and so I just go first target, right? We go on the Ambessa, and then we hit the JAX, or we hit the Yasuo, I mean, whatever. That's kind of not related to what I was saying. Let me show you, where was it? I remember somewhere in this game. I kind of just started like playing like a maniac, right? Like you just kind of jump in and take any fight that you want, right? Like I'm just jumping in the middle of all of them, just going forward constantly, right? Ooh, we see Zyra right here. All right, queuing on her. Like kill this guy, right? Just constantly going forward as JAX. And there's another example later on here. Okay, not here. I just kill Yasuo. Like here. Even if I'm dying, right? A lot of times, I really am just looking to take up space and just fucking send it at the enemy team when I'm ahead as this champion, right? Like, you'll see here, it looks like we're in such a bad spot. But I'm just like, fuck it, dude. Like, I just jump in, bro. It helps that I have a Lulu next to me, right? Unfortunately, I missed my stun on the Ambessa, and so she ends up ulting me, and I couldn't get my Zhonya's off. But if I Zhonya's there, then this is just a free fight, and I don't die, right? But either way, sometimes you just gotta like let your nuts hang, you know? You just gotta fucking send it into the enemy team. Like if we speed this up again, there's another example here somewhere. I'm trying to see. Push side wave, take this tower. At some point, I believe, yeah, here, right? It's like, again, I'm always just fucking sending it on people. Like, I'm in the middle of 3 people here. I'm like, fuck it, dude. I don't give a fuck. Use your Zhonyas. And you would think, like, I'd queue away to Lulu, but nah. Dude, when you're strong like this, just go forward. Just let your fucking nuts hang, dude. Soak up a lot of damage and spells for your team to play the game, right? It's just really strong. Now, obviously, there will be times where you want to, like, queue backwards and, like, play for your team, right? But oftentimes, it is good to just let your friggin' balls hang, dude, and just send it at people. And I'll show you guys another example of a different game, or from a different game, in a sec here, so you'll see that. So here's a quick example, kind of detailing what I talk about in the macro section. So we pushed the wave up where Renekton has to answer it up here. Then I see that I can make a little flank play mid. And so pop the E. Don't Q on her yet in case she has flash. Then when she flashes, I Q on Misfortune. Pop my ult on all 3 of them. Get hella fucking kills. See the Briar ult hit, so I'm like, alright, dude. I'll keep going then. Snag a little triple kill right there. Not really that related to team fighting, but just an example of like pushing the side wave and then looking for a play, right? Looking for a flank. That's how you carry games. But where was it? There's a time here where I just kind of send it into the enemy team, right? Like, here's an example, right? It's like my team is ahead, and I know we're ahead, so I just want to fight. It's just me and Diana, but I'm like, fuck it, dude. Like, I'll just send it into 4 people. I don't give a fuck. Zhonya's right before the Nocturne Fear hits. And then I keep going, right? It's like, yeah, just keep going forward, bro. Even when you're low. If your E is up, you can Sundered Sky, heal up a bit. See Renekton here? Use Sundered Sky to heal. Always look to Q away when you're in danger, right? So I Q to the plant, just heal up a bit. E comes back up, so I'm safe from MF, right? In general, when you have a lead on this champion, you can really play like a fucking badass and just like send it into groups of people. Because you have so much survivability, right? With Sundered Sky healing, with Zanya's to freeze yourself till your E's back up, all that good shit, your ult resistances, you have so many tools to just stay alive. And the next example I want to show is actually pretty funny. It's their whole team tries to kill me here, right? I see them all here. Nocturne ult on me. So, what I do, Nocturne ult on me, pop my E, right? And I notice MF and Karma here, so I just flash, ult, start hitting the MF, Zanya's, and you'd think I would Q away, right? But it's like, nah, dude. Just fucking send it in there, man. Here, I'm low HP, you'd think I'd go away. But guys, when you're ahead on this champion, like, you can just keep fucking sending it forward, bro. Legit. Especially if you have enchanters by your side. You can just keep sending it forward, and it goes so well. So yeah, that's kind of just a quick demonstration of, like, team fighting with this champion. And just kind of soaking up a lot of space, stunning people a lot, living a long time, just being a nuisance for the enemy team to deal with when you're ahead, which lets your team really play the game and shit on them as a result. So yeah, that's some examples of team fights. Hey guys, just quick outro, finish things off. I hope you enjoyed the JAX guide. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments down below. Join my school community if you want, quick plug. Like and subscribe, I think I said that already. And follow me on Twitch too. I stream almost every single day. We have a lot of fun over there. But yeah, thanks for watching. Deuces.